No Narratives Podcast, episode 38. I got my guy, my boy Quinn
Man, we
back
back.
into it.
We
What's up,
back.
man? How you been? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been too long, man. I can't even remember the last time I had. Oh, you know what? 2 months ago. That was the last time. Episode
But a
32.
lot has happened in that 2 months. We got stuff to talk about. We got something for y'all.
Exactly. A lot of stuff to talk about, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess I want to get right into it. I guess just what you've been up to, social media wise, or just anything. Like what's been going on with you, man?
I have been fine tuning my sports trolling game. I've got 2 viral tweets out there, and I need to figure out how to farm this Elon money. And master that art of trolling. I'm picking up everything that NBA Centel does. I'm trying to copy that because dude is just living large, bro.
They saying that he planned the whole collapse of his account, like it getting taken down, and he came back. They saying all of that was like a rollout or something. I'm like, dang, that dude right there, boy, he's tough.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot has also happened in the NBA world, man, including one humongous trade that me and you honestly should have talked about. I should have talked about it by myself.
Yeah, we should have.
But
right.
I was tired at the end of the day. It was like 12 in the morning when that shit happened.
Yeah, and it was so many people talking about it, but I was just like, man, like I gotta see it.
Bro, I was asleep, and my brother was like, bro, Luka got traded to the Lakers. I said, huh? I was like, nah, bro, don't call my phone this late with no BS. He was like, nah, bro, he got traded to the Lakers. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But on a more basketball note, man, Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers. We don't have to talk about the shock value. The shock value has came and it's went. But how do you like the mix so far? Everything that's going on. How do you like the games? I mean, they do have a loss to the Jazz. They do have a loss to the Hornets. But overall, how is the duo looking?
They are looking. All right, I'm gonna say 2 things. That's one's gonna be controversial, but the other is not.
Okay.
Well, actually, maybe they both are. I don't know. We don't know. We'll see. Point is, the people who a lot of people said things about both of these players that have not come to fruition. You said LeBron can't play off ball. He's been doing that the last 3 seasons. He's doing it even more now, and they just literally closed the game with him coming off the ball. So I think that duo is very, very unique because both of those guys can shift from high usage to low usage. Luka's probably going to have a bit more problem with it, but he's like starting to learn kind of the Lakers system, where to be off ball. I think their IQ is going to – you could just see it. It's organic. They've already got the touchdown passes down. That's electrifying. But every time that Luka does something crazy, in the back of my head, I'm just laughing at the Mavs. Because I'm Mavs fan. I'm like, how the does that happen? No, we can't cuss on YouTube. But I'm just saying, how does that happen? Like, how do you just give the players like,
yeah,
that's just what I'm looking at. I'm like, bro, I can't believe they just really handed this man Luka Doncic. Nobody knew about it, supposedly, allegedly, and they're playing great. The other thing I'll say about them is that as good as it looks sometimes, their offense is pretty mid. I mean, it's pretty much just chuck threes. If the threes are going in, they're the Boston Celtics. If it's not, they're the Boston Celtics. so it's like, because Luka could do more, Braun could do more, but there's a lot of Reeves too. There's a lot of like settling and just chucking shots. But a lot of that's because they don't have a role man. They don't have a 5 that other teams have to respect and react to in short roll, or who can get behind a defense and just finish everything that you got to worry about. They don't have that kind of player, so that's a big reason why their offense looks like that. Like if they had Mark Williams in an ideal world, it would look probably a lot smoother. But because they got Jackson Hayes, who can only really do one thing on offense, it just looks mid. But when that trade collapsed, you kind of just knew, like, this is probably isn't the year they're contending, but next year, if they tool up correctly around Luka, that's probably their best chance in this current stage.
Honestly, I got some stats for you. I got a stat for you. Mm-hmm. The Los Angeles Lakers, since post All-Star break, have the best defensive rating in the NBA. They have a top 10 net rating in the NBA. they have actually played really good ball. I think they've been the best defense in the league since like January 1st. I can't
Yeah,
remember
I
exactly
at least
the
for a month
exact
they've
date.
been the best
Yeah,
defense
but
in the league.
it's been a pretty
Yeah.
good stretch of games where they've been a good defense. How long that lasts, I'm not sure. When you talk about the fit, it's gonna be a little wonky at nights. I think that Luka is gonna be much more of an adjustment for Luka than LeBron. I think Luka's still getting healthy and he's still getting in shape and he's still getting more comfortable. And this is three ball handlers in a starting lineup. I mean, Luka has played with three ball handlers in a starting lineup before with Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson, but obviously that's not LeBron James. And I mean, Austin Reeves is good. So I would say Austin Reeves is probably where
Hmm.
Jalen Brunson was his last year in Dallas. I would say that that's where
Yeah.
Austin Reeves is as a player. To me, it's just obviously it's unbelievable that the trade even happened. It's crazy, it's idiotic, it's stupid for the Dallas Mavericks, and to throw smut on his name as he walks out the door was crazy. Uh, but now that the dust has settled, I would say that the only thing with the Lakers that kind of gives me pause is they don't have a big. You know what I'm saying? Jackson Hayes can only do so much. Alex Lynn, I don't even think was in the league. I
Oh no,
haven't heard
actually
Alex
he
Lynn
got
name.
released. Then they
Yeah,
signed him. And so now
exactly.
you
Like
see why
if
he
you
got
get released,
released.
you're not good. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you get
You,
released,
you,
you're not
you,
good. Yeah, and Alex Lynn, even in his prime of primes, was never a stud, like or anything like
right.
that, or anything to write home about. So, I don't know, man. The Lakers, they got a lot to figure out, but they playing some good, exciting ball. It's very polarizing. Two polarizing players like LeBron, like Luka Doncic. A lot of hate is going to be thrown that way, and they play for the Lakers, which is like more hate. Do you buy any credence to this is some big brain play conspiracy theory that Adam Silver manufactured this and because he wanted to save the NBA? I don't buy that at all, but do you buy it?
If I had $100, I would get change and I would put $5 on that theory. The other $95 are going to the fact that those owners don't want to pay him $300 million in
But
Texas.
that's crazy. Luca though, like I can understand, like Jaren Jackson Jr. is about to come up for that type of money. I
Yeah.
can understand giving pause to Jaren Jackson Jr. with all due respect to his game, but Luka Doncic,
Yeah, because if you think about it, just being rational for a sec, right? And just put yourself in their brains for a second. You're going to pay someone 350 million. You question his dedication to his body. You question his habits to maintaining greatness because I also think a part of this is owners are looking at someone like LeBron, Kobe, MJ, guys who have throughout their careers, you never questioned their work ethic or dedication. They never showed up out of shape or had to play themselves in the shape. It never happened. So in their mind, if I'm paying you 350 million, then bro, you need to be borderline Western Conference team. You need to be at the very least first, second team All NBA. Obviously, an All Star. Like, there's a lot of things that in their minds are probably like, I need to have this from this player, and it's just weird because like I don't even know how long they even own the team. So like and like you don't even try to talk to Luca about this. If you're going to pay somebody 300 million, I would think a conversation gets had with him if you have those type of concerns. Not well, shit, 350 mil. We're out. We think you're fat. We think you're not going to stay in shape. Just going to hand you over to another organization that feeds off of all the attention that they get, that capitalizes and they make money off all this. So that's where I'm at. I think the owners have a bigger role, but I do also think there's some credence to maybe the league likes it. The league's not complaining. I mean, the Lakers got a superstar, 25-year-old superstar, so they not gonna complain. But it's just to me, I think finances and maybe owner delusion got into the way because there may be another thing that they're playing at. Maybe they don't want to have this
yeah.
player on this contract. Maybe I do buy into the conspiracy that Dallas may want to relocate to a different city.
That's the one. That's the one right there.
Yeah,
Not to cut you off, but that's the one that I heard that I believe that makes the most sense to me is that
yeah.
because one of the reasons when Mark Cuban had sold like majority stake, I think one of the things that he said was he was going to try to get with Governor Greg Abbott and try to like get legalized gambling in the state of Texas, and that was why he relinquished his ownership responsibility so that he could then participate in said gambling or whatever. I
There's
remember that
one
being a
thing.
story like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one little thing. This the thing I noticed lately living in Texas that may be related to this. Have you heard of Jack Pocket?
I've never heard of Jack Pocket.
Jack Pocket is speaking of online gambling. Jack Pocket is an app that you have here in Texas, and you can
This is
just
not an
use
ad.
it. Yeah, you can use it to buy lottery tickets for any lottery
Okay.
games, and you just do it digitally. You own the ticket digitally. Somebody actually goes out there and gets it, scans it, and gives you the code and all that stuff. But um, that's a form of gambling. It's just right there in your hand.
Mm.
They just got banned from doing business in Texas like a week ago.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
maybe, like you just said, there is some motion in the Texas legislature to do something with sports gambling. So that
But
the
I don't
owners
think
may.
that it is though. I don't think
You don't
I
think that
don't
it
think
is?
that's my point though. I don't think that it's coming down the turnpike. I think that Luka got traded because it doesn't make sense. Okay, all the out of shape stuff, all the don't want to pay 70 million because he's not committed. Okay, cool. I stored that. I respect that. I'm gonna put that to the side for right now. I'm just gonna give you my theory. That means to me, the way I look at it, what makes the most sense to me in my brain is whatever trying to think how to say this. Okay, if you have Luka Doncic, you're always going to be competitive. You're always
Hmm.
going to be in the mix. It wouldn't make sense to sell to a fan base as loyal as the Dallas Mavericks, who have been there for forever. You know what I'm saying? You can't sell, let's move the team while we're competitive and winning games. But if you could do something like, hey, let's try to win now. Let's try to win a championship now. And then if we don't win, if we win, great. If we don't win, and the gambling still hasn't went down the turnpike, Kyrie's going to be older. We're going to move off him. Anthony Davis is going to be older. We're going to move off him. Team is going to suck. They're still going to be mad that we don't have Luka Doncic. Luka might be winning championships. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? He might be winning championships. Then Dallas. Then when you leave and you relocate to a state where it is legal, it's easier to leave
Vegas.
because the team is trash and the fan base doesn't want you anymore because you traded their endearing superstar. So to me, that makes more sense than Adam Silver conspiring to get the ratings up. To me, that makes more sense than saying I don't want to pay Luka Doncic $70 million because we've seen organizations play lesser players more money. With all due respect to like Jaylen Brown, like Jaylen Brown's a fantastic player, but the Celtics didn't hesitate giving him the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers didn't hesitate giving him the bag. Obviously, they bags are going to be different from the bag that Luka could have made, but still, like it just is it's ridiculous to think. So for and Zion, the perfect example, Jeff. Zion been out of shape. He's had stuff happen off the court. He hasn't played in a ton of games. I think he has one healthy season to his belt, and even that season was like a shortened season. And the Pelicans never moved off of him. They never traded him. They never threw smut on his name. So for Dallas to do that to a guy that took you to the finals, 5-time All NBA, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's kind of the theory and on the side of the fence where I fall on more so than the other side. Do you have anything else to say? Do you want to get back to
No,
basketball
I mean,
and leave this
like I
conspiracy alone?
said, that's why I brought up the Jack Pocket thing because I think that is just a tea leaf of where the Texas legislature is going and where the ownership may be thinking in 6 to 7 years. Because if gambling is a big part of the league now and Texas is dragging its feet or even outright banning some of these apps, they could ban FanDuel, Prize Picks, or whatever else. And what's the one city that all these people have been clamoring to get a team in? We both
Las
know
Vegas
Las Vegas.
and Seattle.
So if you suck in 6 or 7 years, you got all the justification you need to say, well, fans stopped showing up, the team sucks, so we're just gonna hop on over to Caesar's Palace, and like
That makes the most sense to me for sure.
like that. That's why I said I give it maybe five, maybe $1, but no, bro. Like I think you're right. Like that's most likely what's happening.
I
because
think a lot
just
of hurt Dallas Mavericks fans think that it's some
yeah,
conspiracy where they just wanted to get Luka.
no,
I'm
no,
like,
no, no, no,
no,
no.
bro. I think that this is really. I think that it was just some shady stuff done
No.
by the
This
GMs,
this this is
and well, not the
billionaire.
Lakers GM, but
Nah,
yeah,
this
billionaire
is
games.
this is billionaire
Yeah,
shit.
billionaire games, bro. Like
Nah, bro, this
I
is
don't
not.
think the league is. You can't. I'm tired of hearing about ratings when the league every single year signs with Amazon for 3.5 billion, signs with Max for 2.4 billion, signs with Netflix for 2.5. Like Netflix is going to be next to get basketball rights soon. Like all of these streaming apps are paying to get these rights to NFL, NBA, whatever, WWE, like whatever the case may be. They got billions upon billions of dollars. Like the ratings don't matter if you have a contract. I have a 5-year contract here. The ratings, oh, it's a big deal. La la la. They're not dropping the NBA. You're not going to drop the NBA because they're not meeting the rating threshold. You're just not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So at the end of the day, I think that's just we could put that conversation to bed. Is there anything else that you want to talk about in terms of the Luka and LeBron on the court stuff, narratives, anything that's bothering you? Because this isn't no narrative spot.
Um, the no defense part for Luca and
With the Lakers?
for
Okay.
for the Lakers. I mean, look, Luca did get hunted, but I mean at the same time, he's putting in a lot of effort. Like you said, he's coming back from being hurt and not
He's
playing as much.
questionable tonight too.
Yeah, but it's just like I see him trying a lot more. I see both of them actually defending. So, and the fact that they've helped contribute to that league best defensive rating in the past month. So I kind of feel like, hey, like these guys are playing with the fire, but hopefully that carries into the playoffs. But I think their toughest matchups are probably going to be Houston, OKC, and Denver.
Okay. I think Memphis is gonna be tough, bro. I
I
think Memphis.
think
I think everybody's sleeping on Memphis. They a sleeping giant. I think. I
mhm,
mean, look at Ja has been hurt majority of this. Well, not majority of the season, but Ja has been hurt quite a lot this season,
yeah,
and they second in the West, third in the West, or something like that. Like they're
yeah,
still in the picture. They got all of those picks from last year. They had a quality team last year before they decided to shut it down. Obviously, injuries and everything. They got Zach Edey. They got Gigi Williams. They got another guy. I can't remember his name, or it's Gigi Jackson. I can't remember, but they got a lot of good talent in the role players, and then they have superstar talent. Then they got all NBA talent. Then they got all star talent. So it's like they got a
yeah.
good mix of stuff. Plus they got quality coaching. Like Memphis is a sleeping giant in terms of them. But yeah, the teams that you listed, I agree. I'm not really sold on Houston. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know I'm a Rockets fan, but I'm not really sold on Houston because I just think it's their first time in the playoffs. If you're
Yeah.
playing Luka and LeBron, they're gonna take turns abusing you.
It's only because they Luca and LeBron is good so long as they're not turning the ball over, and what they struggle with is athletic ball pressure,
And what we
and
struggle
that's
with is half court offense.
yeah. You guys have the athletes. Well, the Nuggets because of their size, Dallas because of their size, and OKC because
Oh,
they get to
Dallas.
foul
Yeah,
and
you
play
can't forget
defense.
about Dallas.
Like that's something that they struggle with, and I see them as having issues with that. I think if Dallas gets healthy, I mean that's going to be
Oh
interesting.
yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna
Yeah.
be super tough, man. I guess segueing off the Lakers, let's get into the Kevin Durant topic. I don't know if you
hmm
heard the Chris Haynes report today about what happened with Mike Budenholzer going to Devin Booker and telling him not to be as vocal is rubbing players the wrong way. I don't know which players it could have been. I don't think that Mike Budenholzer would have went to Devin Booker about being so vocal if it was role players. Does that make sense? Do you think
Yeah.
like if Ryan Dunn is saying, "Hey, Devin Booker's talking
Well,
too much,"
well,
like
well, you got to think
Devin's
about
gonna
it.
go
You
to
got to
him?
think about it. What role players they got? Royce O'Neal, Ryan Dunn, that rookie, Grayson Allen, Trey. God, what's Tyus Jones? But he's only on 1 year
I don't think
contract.
they got Tyus Jones. No, they
They
do
got
got Tyus Jones. You're right. My
Tyus
fault. You're
Jones.
right. You're right. Hmm.
Who the freak else?
Bobo
Bobo. Yeah, bro.
Plumlee. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. So
bro.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
they.
Budenholzer. Yeah, I
Are
don't
they,
think
are they, are
Budenholzer
they
is
listening?
gonna.
Is he listening to Bobo? Is Bobo saying,
Right. Exactly.
nah,
Not for
bro.
Devin Booker, at least. Yeah, for sure. And so,
Yeah.
and then there's another report that just came out that said Budenholzer is like basically in hell. And let me try to get the correct quote. Um, shit, man, I'm trying to think. I just saw it and I can't say it. I don't even see it no more. But anyways, um, yeah, the Phoenix Suns, they're in a downward spiral. They're spiraling out of control right now. They are. I'm not editing none of this either. All this stand in the pod. I don't care because I'm just like just rock with us. They are 3.5 games back of the 10th seed, which will put them in the play-in. With Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. You saw my post in the group. How is this a super team?
Man,
I don't get it.
all right. You tell me why it's not a super team. I want to hear your line.
They're 5 games under 500.
Okay.
They're 2-8 in their last 10. They're 11-20 on the road. They're 17-20 in the Western Conference.
Okay.
Like I don't. Their
But
point. They have a negative 2.2 point differential.
okay, here's the rebuttal. But they got Bradley Beal. He can average 30. They got KD. He can average 30 in his sleep. They
Yeah,
got Book. He can average 30. That's what
but that's not
all.
how
That's what all
basketball
the.
is played,
I know. I know.
and
But
that's what I've been trying to tell people.
that's what people say. They because those guys can score in a way that's as aesthetically pleasing. Three of them on the same team should work, but that's not how basketball works. You
No,
need
it's
to
not at
you
all.
need
Not
to
in the
be in rhythm to
slightest.
be a good scorer. You need the ball to be a scorer. You need volume to be a good scorer. That requires possessions, and you're gonna have usage to do that. And look at Jordan and Kobe, bro. A big portion of their scoring repertoire was possessions used to get them easier shots off the ball. The other team had to wait for the play to develop for them to get the ball to go score. You got three of those guys on the same team, but they don't do anything else.
Yeah,
I
I think that they would benefit from like Alonzo Ball at point guard, or
Yeah,
like Alex
Lonzo
Caruso,
Ball
or
or
Drew
one of them
Holiday.
traded for role
Yeah,
players.
or Derek White. They would do really well. It would serve them well to have a quality point guard, a quality center. I think at this point in his career, Kevin Durant should be done playing power forward. How do you feel about that?
What other position you can play?
Small forward. Like I think in Golden State before he tore his Achilles, it was cool, it was cute. You had the size, you had the defensive stuff. He was younger, but now you're older. You're 37, like, and you're playing a power forward. It's real power
So,
forwards in the NBA.
all right, let me rap real quick
Go
about
ahead,
the Suns.
go ahead,
So
go ahead and cook.
the Suns are there's a lot of things wrong with them, and a lot of it is just the fact that they put together three guys in a team that doesn't understand how basketball works. You cannot just look at PPG and say, I'll put those three on there and go to work because someone has to sacrifice and do something else for the others to eat, or you cannibalize each other. Look at the best example I can give you is uh, the Harden Nets with KD and Kyrie because Harden just came off of scoring damn near 30 something a game, but he became a point guard. Literally, that was his entire role. His points went down like 16 or 17, I think something like that. But he was getting like 15 assists. But
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie in KD's games remained intact and remained impactful
Mm-hmm.
because he could just switch and become a point guard. He didn't
Correct.
have to become a scorer anymore. And
You missing
nobody
you
on the
missing a
Suns,
huge point though. Not to
yeah,
cut you off. I want you to keep your point, but the point you're missing, Bradley Beal and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant don't have that
that's what I
ability
was
to
saying.
be
Like
point
they
guards.
cannot
Yeah.
do anything else other than score. If
Yeah.
Book could be a legitimate point guard or Beal could be a great screen navigator and defensive playmaker, that's a different story. They're a totally different looking team, but they all do the same thing. And my problem with the Suns is like if you look at all the big threes that have worked, they could turn the switch on defensively. They could all defend. They could all do something else. They all knew could take a role, and to avoid cannibalizing yourself, someone has to like. I think Bradley Beal would have been way better served to just be a six man because now you can just come off the bench and do your scoring shit. You
That's
don't got
what
to
he's
worry
doing
about
now.
like. But they started them some games, and they played a tug of war with like, do we bring him off the bench or does he start because he's Bradley Beal and respect him? I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, like y'all stink. Like this reminds me of the 22 Lakers with Westbrook and Braun and AD because the fit was clunky and it didn't maximize each other's game. And this is kind of what's happening here. You don't have the role players to glue any of this together. You don't have none of those guys have the skill sets to be glue guys. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a big part of basketball. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even looking at the Lakers now, like LeBron can just go play off ball. Luka can go handle the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Reeves can play off the ball. Luka can be himself. Like they can also turn it around. Luka, hey, go spot up. We'll take the ball. Like they can change roles at any given possession
Yeah.
and do it well and do it competently. And
But
that's just what,
the
what I
Lakers
see.
also have Dorian Finney-Smith. They
Right.
have Rui Hashimura. They have other pieces that kind of take pressure off of LeBron. They got Dalton Connect. Like they got other pieces. They still need a center, but for the most part, that team is closer to being complete than the Phoenix Suns are.
Right,
Phoenix
because
is
they can play off of
not
each other.
close to
Like
being complete.
what I mean is that your
Yeah.
core three can do things that glue and connect the three of them together, and the role players are the other connectors and glue guys that glue everything and enhance it.
I
The
don't
Suns don't
think
have
that
that.
people understand how important being a playmaker and a passer is. Being
Yeah.
able to see the floor, being able to run the pick and roll, involve this guy, involve that guy. When you talk about the Brooklyn Nets with James Harden. James Harden involved Bruce Brown. He involved Day'Ron Sharpe. He involved Nick Claxton. He made Kevin Durant and Kyrie only have to be scoring assassins. They didn't have to worry about anything else. James Harden, if one of y'all go to the bench, now I can up my scoring and I can do that. That's why I think that he's so brilliant offensively, because he can be a chameleon
Mhm.
offensively, and he could be an engine, or he could be a facilitator, or he could be a scorer. Like he could do so many different things on offense. Whereas Kevin Durant and Booker are specialists. Bradley Beal is a specialist. So when you
Mhm.
got three specialists, one of them being 37, one of them closing in on 30, and one of them who's 31 or 32 or whatever, like, yeah, it's tough. And then your team isn't built properly. And then all of y'all eating up all of the cap. So you don't, outside of Royce O'Neal and maybe Ryan Dunn, those are your two best role players. You have nothing else. Then you take it to account Kevin Durant is not a vocal leader, which, okay, cool. We know this. Bradley Beal has never won anything significantly. I think Bradley Beal been out of the first round one time in his career
Yeah.
with the Washington Wizards with John Wall. They
With the
lost to the
Wizards.
Celtics. I think they lost
Yeah.
to the Celtics. Yeah, like that's the only time that he's been out the first round. And even then he was like in year 4. Like that was a long time ago. So it's like a lot of different things that has transpired in Phoenix. It doesn't
No,
it
it
doesn't
was
add
it
up.
was bad building from the start because I always wondered. I was like, okay, you trade for Beal, and I mean, how long? Like you guys are only as good as your shooting holds up. If you ever hit a game where it's tough, and now you got to start doing other things, then now you're going to see like you're going to be in trouble. And looking at like the way that KD's like aging, like this, I'm bringing this back to your point about should KD still be a four. I think part of it is like you got to recognize what certain players need, and the Lakers saw that LeBron is declining, so you need to put a defensive center behind him. And I think that's the only way KD could get away with that is you put a better defensive center. Like if he had Nick Claxton as a center, or if he even had a Deshaun Sharp or whoever that's defensively minded that could protect for his decline, I think he would make sense as a four then because he's still a good help defender. He's still a good shot blocker, but you got to build the team for that. You can't have like just rent like it seems all too thrown together. Like no one actually thought basketball and thought, okay, I want our team to be good at this, so let's get the glue guys, the role players to do all the things we need to make it all work. Instead, it's like
Exactly.
let's bring names. Let's just bring somebody who could shoot. Like it was all very
What did
like,
what did Devin Booker say in media day? Oh, I don't think it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for you to guard Devin Booker. It's gonna be hard
oh
for you
no
to
no no
guard
yeah
Bradley. It's gonna be
yeah
hard for you to guard Kevin Durant. And it's like, bro, it's really not. And that goes into the point about the talent in today's league.
yeah
Maybe 10 years ago, that would have, killed the league. Obviously, Kevin Durant would have been 27, so yeah. But at the same time, like, it is not that league anymore. They
yeah.
traded Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson to get Kevin Durant. They traded away Bradley Beal for Chris Paul. They traded away DeAndre Ayton for Yusuf Nurkic and Grayson Allen. Like, they have done everything wrong since the 2022 playoff run. They have done everything wrong. I would have never traded for Kevin Durant. Looking back in hindsight, knowing the cost, knowing everything that happened, I would have never done that. I would have never probably got rid of Chris Paul. I probably would have kept Chris
Yeah,
Paul.
that was the one. I was like, I never would have got rid of Chris Paul unless
Yeah.
I would have done that because if I remember, I gotta look this stat up, but I'm pretty sure they were like on an 8-game win streak, and then like something happened. Like they were just like getting around to getting comfortable with each other.
They started off the season, I think, 9-2, and then
Yeah, something like that. Like
Kevin Durant got hurt, and then they fell apart. But I think that it would have just been just like Golden State did, like how Golden State started off hot and then they fell off. You know what I mean? Like you just at some point the talent catches up to you, and that's all it is. Kevin Durant needs to be somewhere where he can just score. He don't need to facilitate. He don't need to defend. He can go back to being a 3. He can just score.
Tell me what destination you got in mind, because I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I think the Houston Rockets is the best destination for him. I know you say Oklahoma City. I think the Houston. I mean, obviously Oklahoma City would be fantastic for KD, but I think Phoenix could ask for potentially more.
Who could Phoenix even give up?
Picks back. Who the Rockets? I think.
Who could y'all even give up in that situation?
I say, and I mean, this might be a package that Phoenix spits back in my face, but Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore. So now you got your starting backcourt. One is 20, one is 21. Then 2 of Phoenix's picks back, 1 of Houston's picks, Dylan Brooks to make the money work.
So you don't think they'll ask for Jabari or
if they ask for any of those guys, I'm cool. And y'all keep losing, and then we'll draft high. We'll draft the top 3 pick, top 4 pick. Wherever your pick lands, we'll draft in the top 10. We'll bring him in, and then we'll try to develop him or swing him for that pick for a player that may not be Kevin Durant, but can provide some semblance of what we need, which is shooting, which is better half-court offense. It doesn't have to be Kevin Durant, but we control your future. Like, we control Phoenix's future along with the Wizards and the Jazz, but we control their future. So if you want your picks back, and this pick and y'all pick lands in the top 4 or the top 5 or the top 7, and you want your picks back because you want to start your rebuild, tell me a better package that gives you 2 guards that start, one that plays point guard, one that plays shooting guard, Dylan Brooks, a vet, and your picks back, or some of your picks back.
Yeah. Do you place any sort of blame, or I guess if there's a pie, how much of the pie do you give Kevin Durant for this failure that's going on in
I give, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I know you probably want to hear me go unhinged, go scorched earth. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't think you are. I don't think anybody.
That team is not built correctly. That team is just not built correctly. I saw Kevin Durant play the Houston Rockets. I see what he specializes at. Phoenix, don't get me wrong, Phoenix needs that. They could always use the Kevin Durant, but they need more. And Kevin Durant can't provide anything outside of scoring. If I say blame pie, I would say 10%, only because he forced his way to Phoenix. Well, he asked to go to Phoenix. They traded away Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. Now you don't have any help. You don't have any support to you. So I think that him going to Phoenix, them trading away their core, doing all of these things, I think he gets the blame for that. But the players really don't get that much blame to me. To me, Matt Ishbia gets blamed. James Jones gets blamed. But I really don't like to blame James Jones either, because how much power did he say? And Matt Ishbia said, "Go get me Kevin Durant."
Yeah, I'm at the point. Do
as a GM?
I'm at the point where I've seen enough that I'm like, bro, y'all are so bad, it's so trash that like I probably wouldn't give him any more than 10% of just because it was stupid to begin with. Like I always thought it was dumb, like to bring Bradley Beal, but then like he did go over there and like when they had Chris Paul and whatever, like they had something. Mm-hmm. They should have just built off of that. But if you agreeing to this,
and they had DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, and I mean he could have agreed to it, but how much of it was Bradley Beal's agent? Isn't Bradley Beal's agent related to Matt Ishbia or something like? Isn't like there's like some?
It's a
his agent is like,
quote me. It's the agent is the son of a former GM or something. It's like some crazy.
But there's a relationship there.
Stuff. Yeah, it's a relationship.
Yeah, that got there, and like that's not you can't blame for that. You know, like you And then, I mean, you hired. Okay, I think it's just so many. Phoenix has made more than one mistake. It's not just not him. It's like honestly, I put 90% of this on because when you for me
Matt
it all started.
Ishbia.
Yeah, Matt Ishbia. Like I'm just like, look, bro, you hired Frank Vogel, and I knew they were going to make him a scapegoat because I was like, that is not a Frank Vogel roster. That is not. You look at all the rosters he's had when he's been successful. They were all a very specific build, and that was not it. And of course, he got the blame because I'm like, bro, you hired him. Nah, this is not his fault. And then you hired Mike Budenholzer, which again, I don't want to see him fired because, like, bro, come on, like that team was not built right, and y'all are just looking for a coach to come save this mess that y'all have gotten yourselves into. Like y'all really, to me, they really need to just blow the whole thing up. Like trade Booker, trade KD, let Beal sit there and rot because he doesn't want to give up. There's no trade clause. Like I think they just need to start over. Send everybody trade KD to either to y'all to get the picks back or trade him to OKC to get some more picks. I would just blow this whole thing up because what you gonna do, bro? You gonna trade KD? And you're still not going to get a package back that's going to actually put Book in contention.
No.
Like, no, you just going to be
on a 1-year deal, so he has leverage. He could say, trade me there. I'm not going to sign an extension with your team. The team is going to then pull out and say, I'm not trading you anything. Boom. That's why I think that Houston is the destination because I think he will want to extend here. Royal Ivy is a former teammate of his. Ime Udoka was his assistant coach in Brooklyn. I just think that everything adds up. I think 1 + 1 is just equaling 2. I really do. And I just think that I wouldn't give them all their picks back, but I would say you can get 2 of your picks. You can get maybe, if depending on where the Brooklyn pick falls, because I think the Rockets have the right to switch with Brooklyn this year. Depending on where that pick falls, I might involve the Brooklyn pick and I involve one of the Rockets pick. And the Rockets pick, I might protect it. Just being honest with you, because Kevin Durant.
I just think this whole thing has to go, bro.
Like, yeah, but I was going to tell you via Gambo at Gambo987 on X, Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. Report Mike Budenholzer is reportedly miserable to deal with in the Suns organization. That's what he reported. I don't know if it's any truth to that statement or anything. It could just be somebody trying to get their name out there. But
boy, they trying to get their scapegoat early.
Yeah, right. All right, man. Let's get into this final segment, man. 36 minutes just goes by when you having fun talking to my guy, man. The face of the league conversation. So today on First Take, pretty much for the past 2 weeks, bro, they've been talking about this face of the NBA. My take on it is, what is the obsession? Why does there need to be one face of the league? And why are people so disingenuous on both sides? I think a lot of players. I think LeBron's quote was mad disingenuous, or not disingenuous, but I think LeBron went a route that was a hot talking point and not necessarily the truth in regards only to Anthony Edwards and why he didn't want to be it. Because the narrative is, well, Anthony Edwards doesn't want to be the face because everybody shits on they try to compare you to Michael Jordan, blah, 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 blah. But you are on Twitter. You see the stuff that women are accusing Anthony Edwards of. Maybe Anthony Edwards just don't want that brought to the light more so than he cares about what a media member got to say. I think that's why Anthony Edwards don't want to be the face of the NBA. He's not ready to clean up his image yet. That's my takeaway.
I mean, and we being honest, bro. I think there's a lot of layers to the face of the league, bro. We need to be honest as fans that, for better or for worse, LeBron's been that guy. Like, he has just been, him and Steph Curry to an extent have just been who the media could always fall back on to either criticize or praise or run segments about. Oh, the All-Star game was trash. Well, we're not going to talk about the fact that it was only 40 minutes of basketball. Let's talk about the fact that LeBron pulled out last minute. Like, that's face of the league stuff. Like, what you do is a seismic event across all media. Is a player ready for that? Because I've been alive like LeBron's whole career. We both seen it. Like,
yes,
it's 20 years of nonstop using that man's name for clicks, attention, segments, whatever, to carry it, whether good or bad. And you're either getting liked a lot or you're getting shit on a lot. And so it's like, what player is ready for that? But also, again, that goes into how the game is covered. who's covering the game, who has what to say, and I mean, just who can you rely as a draw to bring people in?
My bad, man. Quick update. Celtics up 17-2 on the Cavaliers right now. But the reason why I say it's disingenuous from LeBron's standpoint, LeBron James has always wanted to be the face of the league. He's never ran away from it. He's never shied from it. He can handle it. Plus, he's the talent level of somebody that should be the face of the league.
But he started early, though.
Personally, I don't think Anthony Edwards is good enough to be the face of the league. I don't think he's good enough. Personally.
Okay, so I think with face of the league, the part that's missing is that you have to have a play style that draws in people. Like people just want to see
draws in people.
Play. I think Anthony Edwards' plays is okay, but it's not like I don't feel like a casual like, oh my god, I have to watch this guy play. Like his game doesn't necessarily translate like that. Like Steph Curry's game did, right? Jokic, another kind of sort of, but it's just like
not really.
I think Jokic's game is crazy to look.
I don't know, man. Yes, that I agree with. You already know how I feel about Jokic, but I'm just talking about in regards to what they keep talking about, where you're comparing somebody to Michael Jordan and all this other stuff. That's true, but I don't think that people are turning down. I don't think that Jokic is worried about Michael Jordan's legacy or being compared to him, or Hakeem or Shaq or any center that came before him. If you want to keep it positional, I don't think that Shea is worried about Michael Jordan and catching Michael Jordan. I think that we put so much emphasis on that, and it's silly. Stephen A. Smith was born in that era, so he's gonna always have a admiration and a adoration of Michael Jordan because he grew up covering in that area. That's when he loved sports probably the most in his entire life. The old guard of the media is still Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like it also factors in who's covering the game, because if you have this old vanguard of 90s players, people who watched the 90s or early 2000s and who are just fanboys and always comparing it and taking away what we're seeing to big up what happened in the past. I mean, how are you going to navigate that as a face? I mean, you're just going to be constantly criticized. You're not those guys. Like, why should I have to sit here and pretend that Jokic, because Hakeem exists, who I didn't watch all the time, or I watched maybe like one or two games, but I never watched Hakeem for a full year. I have to sit here and say, oh, I can't say Jokic to me is better because someone's going to be like, well, that's offensive because of Hakeem exists. I'm like why do we now need to? I'm just giving you an example. Like, why do I need to hate on Jokic to the extent just to protect Hakeem, who I never fucking saw? It's weird.
Yeah, bro. But the thing is, nobody. Hold on. Nobody really likes the game anymore. The people that do that complain about ratings, that complain about the 3-point line, their favorite players are no longer in the league. They don't love the game anymore. They don't love it. They haven't evolved. They haven't evolved with the game. That's why you hear Kevin Hart in the microphone during the All-Star game screaming, the bigs need to be in the paint. Bigs should post up. Guards should be guards. Wings should be wings, etc., etc. That's why you hear that type of stuff, because they don't understand that the game has evolved. They don't understand that Jokic can dribble the ball 94 feet from the rim, come off a curl, shoot a three, or he can hammer you and put you in the post, or he could pass out the post at an elite level like Magic Johnson. Like they don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? They think that a big should get the ball, give me the ball, dribble, hook shot.
But they're the source of their complaining.
The center is.
Yeah, but the source of their complaining is coming from the very same old vanguard. Like they cannot just let things change and accept it. So we have to keep shitting on the product. We have to shit on the players. To a certain extent, because it wasn't like how I did it in my day. Like it's just at some point it just kind of gets lame, and it's like, okay, do you want to do that? Do you want to be exposed to that all day, every day? Like, do you want to be that person as a player? Do you want to be that? Because what you, like I said, what you do moves the fucking needle if you're the face, right? Yeah. So you move all discussions. You are the center of most discussions. Are you ready for that? Because it's not going to be good. You're going to get glazers. You're going to get haters.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
Anthony Edwards, like I said though, I just don't think that Anthony Edwards is just good enough. I just don't think that he has the
no,
talent.
I agree. I don't think he's good enough. Like I said, to me, you have to be a transcendent player. Your game needs to be, and that this is subjective, right? Your game needs to be played in such a way that people just want to see you play. Casuals who never see, like, like you just have to have it, and it's like it's hard that you can't quantify it. It's just like, do I look at this player and feel like, damn, I want to watch them play basketball again?
I,
And I don't.
and one of the other misconceptions that I really just dislike is the fact that people don't want to leave the past alone. I don't know if you saw my comment, but I said the 1986 Celtics won a championship in 1986. That offseason, they drafted Len Bias, #2 overall. Imagine the Denver Nuggets winning the championship in 2023 and then being in the position to draft a Brandon Miller or a Amen Thompson. That's not happening today. This legacy and chasing of the Loch Ness monster that is Michael Jordan, that is 6 championships, going 6 for 6 in the finals, whatever the case may be. It's never happening again, in my opinion. You have the second apron. You have all of these different things that are happening around the league that are new salary cap implications, just more talent, got young talent
Yeah.
coming in better and better. Foreign, the world is harder because it's more players that are foreign that are elite. Like Michael Jordan didn't have to deal with a lot of that. So it's like comparing Jason Tatum to Tim Duncan or comparing Anthony Edwards to Michael Jordan or LeBron to Michael Jordan, whatever the case may be. Are they in that position? I think the Lakers won a championship in the 80s and then they drafted James Worthy.
James Worthy. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
Like
that
that's
that that
not
exact
happening
trade.
today.
That exact trade is why we have the Stepien rule today.
Facts.
Like
That's my point.
that'll never happen again.
That's my point, bro. So, like, when you talk about the comparison of legacies, that's why I'm starting to get away from that. I'm starting to get away from lists. I'm starting to get away from like comparing players, especially from different eras. If you want to compare two players, they need to be from the same era when they played in the same rules, with the same coaching styles, the same ideologies, and the same philosophies. You cannot
Yeah.
compare Michael Jordan to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. It's not going to work. It's just not. The CBA is not going to allow you to keep your players and build them. You're not going to be able to sign a Scottie Pippen level talent for 7 years, 16 million or whatever he signed for. That was a ridiculous amount of money where he was underpaid. How many players sign 7-year contracts today? Like
None.
the
It doesn't
max
even
is
exist.
5.
Yeah, the
The
max you can get
max
is
is
5.
5. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And then it's a 5-year super max, like 378 million. Like you making 33% of the cap. Bro, Scottie Pippen was one of the best small forwards in the NBA, if not the best, making way below best small forward in the NBA money because he signed a bad deal in 1989 or 1990, 91,
Yeah.
whatever year that was.
And I mean
Like,
that's how it happens because like Channing Frye to me pretty much summed up my thoughts. Like that whole rant about nostalgia having the game in a chokehold because it's just like I've gotten to the point I used to do that. I used to go talk about legacy, but now that I realized a lot of it is because older fans want to gatekeep their players and don't want to let others enjoy something more than they enjoy their players. That's the entire reason
yeah,
that they
yeah,
act the way they do and the way that
yeah.
they've shaped basketball discourse, which is, again, I'm coming back to the Jokic and Hakeem comparison. If I think he's better than Hakeem, then let me fucking think that. I
Yeah.
don't fight. Don't make. I don't need a week long segment on how shitty you think Jokic is because you like Hakeem. I don't care about Hakeem because the whole thing about the GOAT debate or whoever you like, it all comes down to who you saw, who
Yeah.
you personally saw, and who you felt was great.
Hmm.
That didn't mean that everybody else had to feel the way you feel.
Correct.
And I don't
That
have
and
to
that's a
sit
lot
there
of
and say
things. Yeah.
Hakeem is just the great forever. Nobody can ever do anything. I can still respect Kareem, but say, hey, the best thing I have seen is
Yes.
Nikola Jokic.
Jokic.
I
Yeah.
do not see that in Hakeem Olajuwon. So
Yeah.
therefore, I am going to put Nikola Jokic ahead of Hakeem for me as far as who I think is better. That we're not talking about all time. We're just talking about who I think is a better player because you made the same exact logic I did, not you particularly, but just the fan. You made the same exact judgment I did because you saw Hakeem. Hakeem was the best thing you saw. So you can't sit there and try to lord that over everybody for the next 20, 30 years. And
But I
I
think that
think
that's
that's
where
what
the
people do.
misconception comes from, because I don't think in 20 years from now you're gonna be that old dude that's beating the drum about
Yeah, I'm
how
not going
great
to be. I'm not
Nikola
going to do
Jokic
that.
is when it's another
Yeah.
player that's
Yeah, it's
better
another
than
player. I'm gonna be like,
Jokic.
oh wow,
You're gonna
he's
be
better
like,
than
oh,
Jokic.
he's better than Jokic.
Yeah, like
Exactly. And I
it's
think that
that that
that's
simple. Like I said, when Wemby becomes better than LeBron, I will be right here saying, hey, you know what? I think Wemby's better than LeBron
yeah,
because I don't like, bro. It's about what I saw.
exactly. Exactly.
So
But a
it's the
lot of
same.
people have protective, like you say, protective identities. They're like motherhood of these players. Like it's like, oh, it's my
Yeah,
baby. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And that's okay. But it's just like the game evolved and people don't understand that the game evolved. And like to me, I think that's the most detrimental thing to the game is that people aren't aware and they're not accepting that the game
yeah,
evolved. They say, oh, every team plays the same. You show proof that every team doesn't play the same. They say, oh, I mean the 3-point shot. The object of it, yes,
yeah,
okay, back in the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s, whatever the case may be, yes, guys shot more mid-range jumpers, but all they did is say, hey, this guy that's a role player, instead of a mid-range jumper, shoot a three. That's it. And I'm like, they say, oh, Karl Anthony Towns, he shoots too many threes, but Karl Anthony Towns also posts up. You just not watching. Sengun, he posts up, he barely shoot threes. Jokic, he shoot threes and he posts up. Joel Embiid, he posts up, he shoots at the nail, he shoots in the mid-range. Like all of these guys have different play styles, but they all think that because they shoot threes as well, that that's all they do. And it's just not the case in any stretch of the imagination. And I think the problem is so many fans run from education and changing their perspective that the game to them in their eyes won't evolve past whatever they thought in 10th grade. And they
right.
stay there in that mentality from when they were 21. They don't evolve. And that's
Yeah,
and that honestly is just a problem. Nobody wants to have honest discourse. You got guys on the internet that scream about making trades that can't happen because they don't understand the CBA. You got guys that say a contract is a bad contract because they don't understand the CBA. Like you just got so many different guys that are running away from education and they only want care about the on the court product. And it's like, well, that's why you feel the way that you feel because you aren't educated. And then when somebody tries to give you education, you run away from it. You resent it. You say, I'm not listening to it. I don't want to watch it because you're scared of education. You're scared of thinking, that makes sense. You're scared of your mind to actually telling you that. So at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, man. That's really what it comes down to for me.
yeah, yeah. I think we're 1,000% in agreement.
Yeah. But all right, man. That's been episode 38. Was it 38? Is it 30? Yep, episode 38 on
38.
There's podcast. Yeah, man, Quinn, thank you, man.
All right,
Again,
man.
tell the people where they
See
can find you,
y'all.
man. No. Tell the people where they can find you, bro.
Oh, my social is at Quintopolis87. I'm going to be on Twitter. You're going to see me making a lot of my post game jokes. Spaces coming soon too.
All right, man. That's it, man. Hey, y'all know me, Red Nation Blogger. We out of here.